pretty cool.
It
I
is
read
really cool.
read the website a couple like weeks ago or a couple days ago. I'd say a week and a half, 2 weeks ago or something. And it was intriguing. It sounds smart. It sounds good. It's clever. I really like the idea of having liquidation protection like built in.
It,
That's solid. That's really good.
yeah, it's really nice for like just yeah, exactly like you said, like, to protect yourself. I've been part of the community for like a little bit already. Uh, the the devs and the admins and the mods, they're all like super cool. The project is crisp, and the utility of it is just it's just very useful, you know. Also, I don't know if you ever managed to go to the cookbook, Caesar.
Hey, I don't know what the cookbook is actually.
Yeah, so basically it's like recipes for you to like do x y z, you know. So for example, the one recipe that they have there, the last time I saw, it was basically for you to short ETH without having risks of suffering liquidation. And it's really and it's really smart actually how they do it. I would suggest you passing by over there and having a look at the cookbook that Maxox posted.
Is the cookbook just some documentation, or are we talking about some sort of like, thing where you can build up strategies by putting like DeFi Lego functions together and stuff? Or
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can.
that's basically it. So the community and most likely the admins on the project will put recipes there, right? Like recipes, and people can follow them to like have the expected results that they're putting there. But it's a community driven type of cookbook, if you know what I mean.
I get it. Yeah, so it's recipes, and if you want to cook something up like that, you can just kind of go through the steps. That's good. I haven't seen this before. That's quite clever, and it's very community driven. Like, oh, how to use this product or how to use DeFi in general to
Yeah.
get certain things done. I like that. I like that.
So if you go on the cookbook now, the last, the only recipe, I'm trying to open the medium, but I'm pretty sure it's like it's for you to short ETH without like protecting yourself when the interest is bearish. You should really have a look at that. Like it's so smart, and I know they're going to update it and having more recipes over there. But yeah, and it's also that the part of the community that you can just put your shit there. Oh, he's gone. Oh no, he's there. He's there. Okay, okay. I'm gonna mute myself so you guys can proceed with the meeting. I see that Macox is back.
Yeah, thanks for sharing all that, John. Um, I think you did the Portuguese translation as well, so thanks for doing that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
the cookbook, Caesar, that'd be awesome if you check that out. So far, I've submitted one recipe, but maybe we'll have something in house in the future. But the idea is through backed, right? You can do like yield farming strategies, but there's also like more basic finance, just investment strategies. So anyone can submit a recipe, which is simply an Excel or Google Sheets document. And the idea is showing how you can earn excess return utilizing backed. And at the moment, what you could do when we're on mainnet is basically plug the recipe into a batch transaction DApp like Furo Combo is an example that you could utilize for that. But cool, let's move forward with the testnet demo. Let me get my screen going real quick. Let me know if you guys can see this or not.
Yeah, I see your Discord.
Okay, cool. Let me switch over to Chrome. Can you see the reactive liquidity?
Backed
Okay, great.
reactive liquidity.
So yeah, this is testnet. I'm not sure if you've used testnet so far, Caesar.
I've used test nets, but not
Right,
this
right,
app.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so we're on Coven at the moment, and we've been on Testnet for a while and had a lot of great feedback and whatnot. So again, it's like the landing page where you can see different actions we're planning on adding. Uniswap v3 and limit orders. And one thing I wanted to note too, just in terms of our tokenomics, which I think is important to stress, is that one of the benefits of deploying our own strategies is that by holding the back governance token, you'll be able to capture fees from both yield farming, like performance fees, and also actions, right? So there's other protocols that delegate liquidity, but because they don't deploy their own strategies, their token is not able to capture any of the fees. So that's just something I wanted to touch on real quick. But if we click view pools, you can see I have 2,000 deposited, and that's deposited in DAI. And of course, this APY is, it's testnet, so it's not really doing anything. But if we go over here to create a top-up position, so right now, if you were a back liquidity provider, you can only register or use actions for your back liquidity. So, and any action is optional. So right now, I've deposited DAI and it's earning yield, let's say, and then it also earns yield from action fees. So if I go to create a top-up position, I can choose the protocol I want to top up a loan on. And I think I already have a active, let's see here. Yep, so I already have an active loan on Aave testnet, and my health factor is 1.09. So what I can do, just to see if it tops up, let's see here. Aave, capture my address. And if I do a health factor of 1.09, it should top up immediately. And let's just do a single top up of 500. So that means it'll move 500 DAI of my liquidity over to my collateral. And max top up is, so say you wanted to have multiple top ups, it would deduct it from this.
Is there any way to pause and I can ask a few questions here?
Yeah, for sure.
Like right now you're basically telling the keeper what it needs to do, right? If some event happens, like if you put that threshold to like 99, then they'd be like, okay, 99 just got hit. I gotta top up at least 500. And if it goes down even lower, maybe I gotta top up it to a maximum of 1,000. If I top up the full 1,000, then it's no longer my problem, and he will get liquidated. That kind of what's going on here.
Yes, exactly, except for the max top up. Sorry, I didn't explain that properly. So this represents the max amount of your liquidity that is allocated for top ups. So if you had one top up of 500, you'd have 500 left allocated for top ups.
Okay, so well, what? All right. So if you put the 500 in, right, and then that took you to like say like 1.23 or something, right, and then for some reason your collateral continued to decrease in value, or your debt increased in value for whatever reason, then it would have to, and it came back to 0.9 or 1.09, then it would still have another $500 sitting around to top up again. Is this the idea?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I get it.
Cool. So then just create your top up, and then it just gives you confirmation of what exactly will happen. Yeah, let's see if I have that correct real quick. 1.09. Yep.
While this is confirming, how is backed knowing the threshold or the the health factor? How is it getting this data? I
Um,
know it's like it's in the Aave like UI, but like, are you guys just literally pulling the Aave APIs, or are you guys using some sort of Oracle or something to guarantee that this threshold number is accurate? Because this is the key factor here, right? Is that threshold number that needs to be like,
right, right.
monitored, right?
Yeah, so that's a good question. And I don't want to give you the wrong answer. One of our developers could for sure answer that better for you, but I want to say it would be the same way a liquidator on Aave would pull the health factor. I'm not certain to exactly how it's done, whether it's in API like you said or in Oracle.
Okay. What about the what happens if the keeper, like the keepers fail to perform? Do they have any kind of staked tokens that they're going to get slashed or something?
At the moment, we don't have anything implemented like that. One thing we do stress is that, if you're someone registering a top up position, it would not be wise to register it at one for your health factor because then, a liquidator could win over your collateral versus it being topped up. Um, but we should have a numerous amount of keepers running, but that is a good question. I can give you a follow up answer on that sometime in the future.
Okay, so you're saying that like if you have a health factor of 1, then that's like a liquidatable position, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying don't try to match the liquidators. You got to use back and beat the liquidators. Like even 1.002 or something would definitely be better than just 1, right? That's what you're kind of saying. The better, the more higher you set it, the better, of course, so the keepers have a chance to not have to have a gas war with the liquidators, right?
Yes, exactly. We've recommended that you don't set your health factor threshold for a top up below 1.05. Um, with that threshold, really the keeper will always have the advantage because their transaction will happen first, and it should avoid any gas wars with the liquidator. I guess users could get more risky with it, but again, the closer you are to one, the more risk you have of actually being liquidated versus topped up.
Okay, so over here on the right, you have pool information, pool TVL. That's the entire TVL of like Aave, right? Of this,
This is
or
just
is that the pool TVL of backed?
this is the pool TVL of backed, but I think this might just be dummy data right here.
Mm, makes sense. It's on testnet, right? Okay,
Yeah.
and what about the APYs? Like, where are we gonna? You said you mentioned when we were talking that there's gonna be some backed token like incentivization of using and so forth. Uh, how can we know something more about this? Is it shown and is it inside that APY there? Like I understand the APY is not accurate because there's nobody borrowing and lending on Aave, right? But like if we hover over that APYI, does it give us some information on like where is this API? Like
Yeah,
where is
so
this APY being pulled from?
this is the APY from the strategy. The liquidity mining, so like the backed governance token rewards, will be on top of this. So this is purely from, or will be from the strategy, which um, at launch, like other protocols or strategies, will be based on curve and convex.
Mm. Do you know if it's so are you going to pull like the rewards from Aave? Like if you borrow and lend on Aave, then you get rewarded in Aave tokens, but they're vesting and so forth. But like, I think it's 10 days vesting, right? So you're going to pull these, and are you going to give them to the users as Aave tokens, or are you going to liquidate those Aave tokens in for more DAI in this case? Like, are you going to sell those Aave tokens or just give them to the user?
Well, I mean, the strategies, they don't use Aave. Do you mean if you're just borrowing on Aave and register a position?
Yeah, like if you're borrowing on Aave, and if you, of course, if you supply and borrow, as long as you're borrowing, then you're rewarded with Aave tokens, right? So
Right.
I'm wondering, you said you're talking about this is having strategies, back's going to have strategies. I'm like wondering, like, You guys sell the reward tokens, whatever the strategy may be, whether it's Curve or Sushi Swap or whatever. Are you guys going to collect those governance tokens and sell them for more of the underlying token? Or are you guys going to just allow the user to claim those tokens as, do you know what I mean? There's two
Oh,
different
right,
like
right.
motives, right? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I see what you mean. No, the tokens are sold for the underlying.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. How about withdrawals? Like, I guess we can look at that. I get this. This makes sense to me. Like, there's just the two choices now, Compound and Aave, and this will all increase as you guys adopt new protocols and so forth, right?
Yep. Let me just close this position real quick. Um,
Sure.
close this, confirm. And yeah, with Backed, users are free to withdraw or close their top up positions at any time. So there's no lockup periods for providing or delegating your liquidity.
How about a fee? Is there a fee for using it? Of course, there must be some sort of fee, right?
Right. Yep. So there's performance fees on the yield that is generated. There's also a small withdrawal fee of your liquidity, but that decreases over time. It's more of a security feature um, in case there were individuals trying to exploit the pools for some reason.
Okay, so when you say withdraw, you mean actually pulling out of your pool of DAI that you want to like use for top up positions, right?
Yep.
Not
So
actually closing a top up position like that. What you just did now, that did that cost you any fees?
no, there's no
Like the
fees
actual
on
close?
this on that. Like what I did right here. It's when you
Yeah.
withdraw your LP or exchange your LP tokens for your liquidity. There's a fee that decreases over time, just so there's not users trying to manipulate the pools.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, jumping in and jumping out for whatever reason they want to. Yeah, I get it.
Yep. So then I
Right.
can withdraw, and after you withdraw, that's about it right now for testnet. It's very simple, but it's kind of the fundamental way Backed works, where you have your back liquidity that earns yield, and then from there you can choose to add actions on top of it.
Okay, yeah, so that's a good question right there. Right now you have $2,000 worth of DAI sitting in back. Well, now you've got zero, right? But
Mm-hmm.
before, when you had $2,000 sitting in there, is it idle, waiting for you to assign it to a top-up position, or are you guys deploying that somewhere to at least gain some yield?
Oh no, it's immediately deployed. So as soon as any LP actually provides liquidity, regardless of whether they add an action or not, all liquidity will be generating yield and deployed to strategies.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yep.
Nope. Can't have fun and sitting around doing nothing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this looks slick and clean and straightforward. You know, it's definitely user friendly. Like, I assume when you have like tons of different options, it'll get more difficult to understand. But the way it's set right now, I think, anybody can take advantage of something like that. Like, just the liquidation protection's huge. It's huge. Like, everybody's all on the other side. There's tons of protocols that are like trying to like help with the liquidation process, in the sense of like, oh, we will help that protocol liquidate for them so that they don't need to worry about liquidations, and make sure like backstop is strong and stuff, right? But I like this idea of like protecting the user instead of protecting the protocol. Like that, it's good.
Great. Yeah, it's great to hear. Yeah, it's a very um, like mutually beneficial, you could say, ecosystem we're trying to build, where every protocol participant is essentially helping each other in one way or another.
Yeah, exactly. Like, most of the protocols that do lending and borrowing, they don't make a lot of money off liquidations, if they make anything. There are some that get a nice big chunk when they liquidate, right? But for the most part, liquidations are given to the liquidators. Like, all that yield is given to the liquidators for the most part, right? Or they're given to the shareholders of the governance token, right? But
Right.
I
Right.
like this because this is like everybody wins. Like, the protocol gets their fees, like Aave. Aave gets their fees. The user gets protected. He gets decent interest, or he's protected in the sense. Is there any yeah, I didn't see anything. I'm probably not. I'm probably reaching here, but like, is there any monitoring of like interest rate? Like, could you? That would be nice. Like, if you could like top up positions based on like the current interest rate. Like, if the interest rate spikes to like 120% because there's not a lot of liquidity on Aave for whatever reason, then you top up a little bit so that you're not burning away at 100%, 120% on like 62 million or whatever. Put 60 million in for a few hours, and then you can get my idea, right? That would be interesting as well. That would be something you guys can maybe explore.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Um, and yeah, Caesar, I'm sure you're someone who's so involved in DeFi, you probably have all kinds of great ideas that we could possibly implement in the future. So if you have any suggestions or think of anything, feel free to leave a comment because, again, that network of off-chain bots, the keepers, that's something that is really important to the protocol, and we can grow it to where they can monitor all kinds of different positions and bring utility to liquidity providers and just really any way. It is very open ended.
Can you talk a little bit about the actual governance token? Like, what's going on there? Like, what can this token do? Is it gonna have some fee accruals? Like, can I stake it? Is there an LP for farming and stuff like this?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about it. I'll do a little sneak peek. We haven't really given any information on it. Um, but yeah, so the back governance token, it will be launched as of now. The plan is to launch it shortly after mainnet launch. Um, And what the token will do beyond governance is we're really following a token model somewhat similar to Curve, where there's locking periods and accrual of protocol fees. Protocol fees will come from um, performance fees, so from the yield that's generated from strategies, and also protocol fees. So that's when liquidity is shifted. And so, for example, if a user wanted to stake their backed governance tokens, they could receive rewards in backed LP tokens, is kind of the model. So, again, just think of something along the lines of what Curve does.
It makes sense. Are you able to click on that tokenomics chart right there in the docs? I don't know if this is alpha or not, but
No, this is not. This is pretty outdated. Um, yeah, this all needs to be
okay.
updated, actually. Sorry. But this is all the public info on the tokenomics right now.
I just wonder, like, what kind of, like, you guys gonna do airdrops? Are you gonna do any kind of pre-sale or any kind of like community benefits? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just throwing a question out there just for something else to ask about, right?
Yeah, for sure. Um, I can't really speak to the specifics, but I can say that we think the community members of Backed and people who are involved in the ecosystem or already adopting it will be pretty happy with how our tokenomics are set up.
That's good. Yeah. All right.
Cool. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen if that's okay, unless you want me to look at anything else.
I'm good. No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
We can just talk. Yeah, you can turn off the screen if you want. The cookbook that your friend was talking about. You were suggesting that Furu combo or some sort of automated, you know, function creator could be used to do it. Do you guys have any plans to create your own kind of like cookbook oven?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, that's a good word. I've kind of bugged the team about that, but they're already so overwhelmed that like me bugging them about that was not they weren't thrilled about it. But we could possibly do that down the line, but there's just so much we have to do already. So at the moment, the
Yeah,
best
yeah,
bet for that is submit your own strategies in the cookbook or look at other ones, then use something like Furo Combo to utilize it.
yeah. You could also run them manually, right? Just having the cookbook idea there, like step one, do this, step two, do that, like an actual real recipe, right?
Yeah,
That's good
yeah.
enough too, right? That's quite valuable to people. Like, people will see that and be like, oh, I can do this and then that and then this and then I can, and then I'll be safe and I'll get that. Yeah, I think that's super valuable in itself.
I think that's the actual format at the moment of the cookbook. Although it only has one recipe, but that's the actual format of it. It's not very specific on like the amounts. That's the only thing I would love to have. If in the recipe you could have like amounts, so people could like base themselves off of those amounts, and then they can do it proportion. But other than that, is basically that's the format that they have it like step by step what you have to do to achieve that recipe.
Oh, there's amounts in it. There's actually um, an Excel spreadsheet that you can plug in all your numbers and whatnot and see what your return would be.
Oh snap! Great.
Yeah,
Shit,
so
I missed out on that.
yeah, no, it's that's like the criteria for it. So the spreadsheet I made really the only criteria is it uses backed and it has some sort of excess return, and I say that loosely because I mean the definition for that is different depending on who you ask, I guess. But um, yeah, like with the interest bearing short, it basically the excess return would be if you're shorting through Aave without backed versus with backed, what would the difference be in your P&L?
Now, there's obviously like partnerships with other protocols are obviously like beneficial, and if you were had the opportunity, then you'd probably explore them for sure. But are you guys actually exploring any? Like, you don't have to give me names, but I just wonder, like, do you guys have any contacts in DeFi that are hopefully you can call on them and be like, hey, let us partner with you a little bit, and maybe some sort of mutual benefit to everybody. Like, your protocol already seems to be beneficial to them, but they're not necessarily giving you return benefit in a sense. Like, people, they could advertise for you, but you understand what I mean? Like, is there any kind of partnership ideas going around or anything like this?
Yeah, for sure. So in February of this year, we had grants from Aave and Curve. So that's somewhat of a partnership. In terms of future partnership, there's already been a numerous amount of protocols that have reached out to myself or other members of the team interested in integration. That could be uh, other borrowing and lending protocols, such as I've talked to like BZX and whatnot. But that's a good question because like the partnering and integration stuff is super important for Backed, and also it's a good way to grow the community and get new community members from other protocols. Because, for example, if you're a BZX user and you see Backed as integrated, it's a way for you to possibly make borrowing on that platform more efficient.
Yeah, see, the thing is, what I kind of visualizing is whether or not people will be able to come to Backed, or maybe go, let's say Aave, right? Go to Aave and be able to do everything all in one place. Like the way you showed us on Testnet, you would require you to go to both places. Like, you would have to open your position on Aave, then come back to Backed, and then supply for the keeper jobs, right?
Yeah, and that's an interesting point because one thing I don't know if you picked up on it with the registering your top up is you can register any address you like. So it's not like you connect your wallet and it just detects whatever loan you have on that address. So what that enables is, like you're saying, all in one place. If there's another protocol, maybe like Instadap or something, where it's kind of like a dashboard, they could use Backed on the back end by registering different addresses for their users' liquidity, which would essentially create what you're saying, I think, if I'm understanding you properly.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, actually, when you did copy and paste the address in there, in my mind, I was thinking like, well, why doesn't he just connect the wallet and it just automatically does it? But I see there's quite a few use cases for this. Like, I could I could do all of my liquidity, all my positions on several wallets from a single wallet, so that I can have it all together and easily see everything and pay the gas and stuff from a single wallet and so forth. And then, like you said, like, just being able to other protocols to be able to just interact with the contracts and not have to like connect the wallet through their app into your app. I think that's quite interesting, actually. That's good. Like, that doesn't necessarily scream like partnership, but it's definitely adoption and use case. And people don't need to build it then, right? Like another protocol doesn't need to build it if it's already there and it's free to use and permissionless, right?
Right, right, exactly.
Oh, that's good. It's good.
Um,
Um,
Also, another question, like I do believe in your product. I think that you guys have a really nice product, but in terms of marketing wise, because you could have the best product ever, but if no one knows about your product, like no one will going to use it. In terms of marketing, like how will you guys promote back further?
That's a good question, John. In terms of marketing, so right now only being on Testnet, we're really just focused on building the core community. And also, it's kind of my perspective too that I'd rather pour more money or resources into the community building versus some big YouTube sponsorship or something like that because I don't think that in terms of long term building is the best strategy. But we do have funding and whatnot. So around mainnet launch, we'll for sure do marketing campaigns and just overall increase market exposure because that is a good point. Backed at this time, really, not many users know about it, and it's still um, a somewhat undiscovered protocol, you could say.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
well, like that's why I was speaking on partnerships because partnerships go like way better than anything for marketing. Like if you get Aave just saying like, "Hey guys, if you want to protect your liquidity positions on us, just check out Backed." That'll be enormously powerful for you guys. You know what I mean? It doesn't even have to be more than a tweet. A couple tweets and it's golden, right? So yeah, like that's way better than like some random YouTuber just talking about it, or even myself. It's way more effective than what I could do just by making an overview video. Like people will do it if like Abe just says, "Oh, this is worth checking out," and in order for them to say something, that it has to be lock solid, right? So I agree. Like you just test it, test it, test it. Like if you guys are not hurting because you got a grant, then I would highly suggest just test it until it's flawless and you're absolutely sure, and then approach them and say, "Hey, like, look, it's working," and then kind of hint at them. I don't know. This is just a wild suggestion, but if they gave you a grant, then I'm sure they're not their ears are not closed, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also, I mean, in terms of YouTuber stuff, I think everyone here would love a Caesar video on Backed. But yeah, the Aave grant has been great. I talked to OX or Zero X Bill. I don't know what exactly his role is. I've joined some of their community calls, and their support has been awesome. Also, the Curve support has gone a long way as well. And I do think with what you're saying with partnerships that, like, say for example, we were trying to build a completely different chain where it doesn't build on top of anything, it's just new infrastructure versus Backed, which is kind of like Lego's already building on other protocols with the partnerships and marketing from that. We're kind of in a lucky position because there's so much we can add or integrate with on Backed.
I have, like I said before, there's several protocols that are tackling the idea of helping out with automating liquidations and making liquidations happen more readily, and protect the black swan events and stuff like this. I haven't heard of anybody who's successfully been, the idea of managing your liquidity position for you has been, I've heard it rumors and stuff, but I haven't seen any protocols that are doing it. So you might have first mover at least somewhat in that right regard, and that can go a long way as well.
Yeah, no, first mover is always huge. And in terms of top ups plus deploying your own strategies for yield farming, unless I haven't seen something, we are the first mover for that. And of course, we'll continue to build on it. But cool. Yeah. Caesar, thanks for all the questions and joining again. This has been awesome. It's always great to talk to you. If you guys don't know Caesar, he has a great YouTube channel on DeFi and all kinds of stuff that I would most definitely recommend checking out. And if anyone else in the chat right now has any questions or anything, feel free to unmute yourself and just go for it.
Are you guys, by any chance, looking for like big investments or partnerships with VCs?
I can't speak to this too much, but we've been in the process of that over the past month.
Just to say that I have a connection with a chat VC. If you guys looking for something good.
Okay. I think no. That thanks for mentioning that, but we've been doing pretty well, so I think we're okay for now.
Fair enough. Just trying my luck.
Who's your Chad VC?
Um, faculty
You never
members.
say who you're Chad.
But you haven't heard it from me.
Okay, got it.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. I think this product's pretty good, man. I really like this idea, and I'll keep my eyes on it. And do hit me up like when it's ready for mainland. Like I can't do a Testnet video. I just can't do it. Right? It's
Yeah.
just like check this out. It's coming soon. It sounds it's too shill, right? I'd much rather do like, hey, look at this thing. It's working. Give it a go. You can protect yourself. Blah 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 blah. You get yield while you're protecting yourself. That's solid. That's super good. One more question. Are you planning any multi-chain, any cross-chain, or any multi-chain?
At the moment, we're just deploying to Ethereum. I can't, I don't know what exactly our plans are for that, but of course, like other protocols, we'll try and to accommodate different chains and L2s and whatnot.
Well, like you're definitely gonna get like forked on another chain within a month if it works, right?
Yeah.
If it's working, you're better off just trying to like if it works and you just fork yourself. It's not a whole lot of work. You know what I mean? It's just kind of a gas, to fork on a multi-chain. You know what I mean? It's just because someone will just fork it then and face it, right? So I would suggest you at least consider it seriously. Push the team a little bit, but then you got to get keepers. You got to get keepers on the other chain. That's a good point, and I don't know if your keepers are willing to work on other chains or not. So that's a consideration, and that kind of is a moat as well. Thanks so much for having me, and keep in touch, Max. Of course, anytime, give me a shout, and we'll talk. Okay.
Will do. Thanks again for joining, Caesar. It's always great to talk to you.
Yeah, you too. And how's your YouTube? Are you still got time to do a YouTube channel?
No, I don't do any YouTube anymore. I do kind of missed it a little bit, but I haven't uploaded anything in like half a year.
Yeah, it's tough to do everything, right? Yeah, I get it. Okay. Talk to you soon, Max, and it's a pleasure. Cheers.
Take care. See ya.
Hey, Max. So I have a position right now on the testnet, and it's not popping up my collab.
Is your health factor, is it matching the health factor of your current borrow position?
No, it's like past it, so it has to match it exactly.
Oh, so your registered health factor on Backed is greater than your current health factor of your loan?
Yeah, so right now the health factor of my loan is about 1.07, and I put the threshold to 1.5, and it hasn't topped up.
Okay, yeah, so that should have topped up for sure. Thanks for mentioning this. So I can ask Daniel about this. He's one of the developers. Right now on testnet, we're only deploying one keeper, and I'm not sure if he's looked at it recently. It could be out of gas or Ethereum for gas. So um, let me ask him about that, and I'll get back with you.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. But I'm gonna hop off, guys. Thanks again for everyone who joined. I am recording this, so I'll upload the call to my YouTube channel. And if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And yeah, thanks, guys.